Good day, folks. I'm here in the Royal Borough of Jedburgh today, and this is another summer edition of Munro's Journeys. I'm going to show you around the town, places of interest, historical interest, and we'll start off right now. Jedburgh has a historical background. The history of the Royal Borough of Jedburgh dates back many centuries, around AD 830. Bishop Esgrid of Lindisfarne formed two settlements on the Jed Water, calling them both by the same name. The settlement around the castle became the Jedburgh we know today. The oldest written form of this name is Jedburgh, meaning the enclosed settlement by the River Jed, which dates from around 1050. By the mid-16th century, the name Jedburgh was being used. Nowadays, the town is often called Jeddart, or simply Jed, by local people. Situated close to the national border between Scotland and England, Jedburgh has suffered a great deal of turmoil during the wars of the independence in the 13th and 14th centuries. The English captured Jedburgh on numerous occasions. The town and abbey were burnt 3 times in the 15th century by the English, providing evidence of the strategic value of the town. The 16th century was no less troublesome, with several attempts being made by Scottish monarchs to restore order to the area. Quite a lot of history attached to this town. In the meantime, we're going to show you around points of interest. So here we go. Starting off at the public hall, the large sandstone building on the corner of Abbey Place and Dean's Close was built in 1901 to replace the town's corn exchange, which had burnt down in 1898. Below ground level are 2 rooms from an old malt barn, probably established by the Abbey, and which at one time served at the town armoury, as the town armoury. The hall itself is quite grand, with a barrel vaulted ceiling supported by pilasters and ornamental scrolled brackets called consoles. There is also a gallery supported on cast iron columns. The hall can accommodate about 800 people. So that's the public hall, folks. Public hall. Starting off here. And that's it there, folks. Public. And here we have the Carter's Rest, another old building. Although now a public house and restaurant, this building was originally the grammar school. Formerly, the school was housed in the remains of the Abbey across the road, and since 1882 it has been at the bottom of the High Street. Among famous pupils was Sir David Brewster, 1781-1868, who was world famous for his studies of light and optics. So that's the Carter's Rest. You want to come in for a lunch? Yeah. There we have the Jedburgh Abbey, folks. There's nothing like a great ruin for visitor appeal, and Jedburgh Abbey ranks alongside the best of them. providing a breathtaking welcome for those arriving in the town from the south. Jedburgh Abbey. Jedburgh has a long religious heritage dating from at least the 9th century in 1138. On the site of a previous church, priory was founded by King David I of Scotland in 1124-1153, when he invited Augustinian canons Bovis in France to settle in Jedburgh. By 1154, the status of the priory had been raised to that of an abbey. This indicated clearly to the English the power of the King of Scots and the independence of the Scottish Church. In Jedburgh Abbey, folks. The ramparts. I am standing on a gun platform raised in 1548 by a French force under General d'Essy to defend Jedburgh against the English. The town and abbey had already suffered great damage in 1544 and 1545 during the campaign known as the Rough Wing, designed to force the Scots to marry their young queen Mary to Edward, the son and heir of Henry VI, the son and heir of King Henry. Jedburgh Abbey. King David I of Scotland founded this abbey in the 12th century. He brought a colony of Augustinian canons from Bovis in France. At first it was a rich and important abbey, but it suffered many attacks by invading English armies and was ravaged at least 6 times after the Reformation of 1560, and until 1875 it housed the parish church. That's Jedburgh Abbey. That's it there. Here's a plaque for James Thompson. Son of a local minister, Thompson was educated in the grammar school, which was then situated within the abbey, probably in the SE corner. Moving to London, he became a renowned poet, famous particularly for his masterpiece, The Seasons. However, he is best remembered for the words of the patriotic song Rule Britannia, published in 1740. James Thompson. Jedburgh Abbey. And we're at the new gates. This building begun in 1756, replaced a toll booth which stood at the top of the Cannon Gate. It contained a courthouse and a prison. The spire was added in 1791 and contains 3 bells, including one from the Abbey. The Burgh Arms, dated 1720, above the arch, came from the well head of the town's first public water supply, and that's the new gate. And we're at the courthouse. Jedburgh was formerly the county town of Roxburghshire and the seat of a sheriff court and high court. Here were council offices as well as a courthouse, and the 1812 French prisoners of war helped construct a townhouse here. Early in his career, Walter Scott was an advocate in trials here. Nowadays it houses the sheriff court, and that's the courthouse. Plaque there of Sir Walter Scott, who's connected with this courthouse. Jedburgh Sheriff Court, Justice of the Peace Court. Quite an impressive building. That's there. A courtroom was added in 1861 to the designs of the Edinburgh architect David Ryan. Sir Walter Scott, who made his first appearance as an advocate here in 1793, often visited the previous court building. Closes. Jedburgh was originally built in a traditional cross shape of 4 main streets. Of these streets were closes, passageways, through the buildings to lanes and courtyards. Today you can see something of the layout of the medieval borough and of the traditional style and design of the houses, including circular towers, 4 stairs and corbelled gables. That one's Cornelius Close. And there's Prince Charlie's house. Prince Charles Edward Stuart lodged in this house on 6-7 November 1745. This tablet was unveiled by the Duke of Atholl, KT, 28 September 1935, erected by Jedburgh Callants Club. Provost then was W. Wells, the Mason President. And here we are at the Abbey Close. This area was part of the Abbey precinct and led to the west processional doorway and the west range of monastic buildings. On this site, the Abbey's tower protected the Abbey. Canons provided religious services in the nave for the people of the parish. The graveyard was part of the medieval lay burial ground. In the later years, a horse market was held here. So this is Abbey's Close. Wordsworth visited in 1803. The poet William Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy made a tour of Scotland in 1803. Walter Scott visited them here and showed them around the beauties of the area. He also recited part of his poem, The Lady of the Last Minstrel. William wrote a poem to celebrate the wonderful hospitality they received from the lady of this house, Nellie Mitchell. There's a plaque. The poet Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy. I'll go slow so you can read it. So that's commemorating Wordsworth's visit. And here we have the Wrens, or the Wren's Nest. A house on this site was given to the Earl of Hume by King James V in 1610. The present building dates mainly from the 18th century. It became Jedburgh Academy in 1821 and housed a prestigious boarding school for boys. Notice the initials on the gable heads standing for George V, the headmaster and Marion Miller, who were married in 1862. That's the Wren's Nest, folks. Jedburgh Abbey. Jedburgh Abbey was a favourite destination of Scottish kings. Much royal business was conducted in Jedburgh, and the abbot was often used as an ambassador and counsellor to the king. Among royal visitors were William the Lion, Robert the Bruce, and James V. Malcolm V died here in 1165, and Alexander III was married in 1285. The Abbey. All those years and it's still standing. Jedburgh Abbey. Abbey Close. This area was part of the Abbey precinct and led to the west processional doorway and the west range of monastic buildings. On this site, the Abbey's tower protected the Abbey. The canons provided religious services in the nave for the people of the parish. The graveyard was part of the medieval lay burial ground. In later years, a horse market was held here. Abbey Close. You view the Abbey there. Prince Charlie's house, known by the title above. This 17th century building was the townhouse of the Ainsleys of Black Hills. On the front is a complicated sundial, badly eroded. Much changed, the essential form of the house remains, and through the architectural features including an ornate Renaissance doorway and a conical roofed stair tower. Prince Charlie's house. John Ainsley. Born in Jedburgh and buried in the Abbey, he was a surveyor, mapmaker and engraver, apprenticed to the geographer to George III. He produced fine maps of country, the quality of which challenged others to improve their mapping techniques. He wrote the standard text for his profession and was a surveyor on the Forth and Clyde Canal project. That's John Ainsley, 1745 to 1828. Some of the artefacts here, but as it says, it's pretty weathered with age. And the stairwell. All that stoneworks dates back from way back then. And the stairwell there. And that was the Black Hills Close, folks. And here we're at the Spread Eagle Hotel. Tradition has it that these are the oldest licensed premises in Scotland. The facade dates from the 18th century, but within there is evidence of a much older building, perhaps a tower, which defended the marketplace. Mary Queen of Scots may have lodged at the inn here in 1566 until a fire forced her to find other accommodation. Spread Eagle Hotel.
Hope you all enjoyed the visit to historical places and points of interest here in the Royal Borough of Jedburgh. TCSS, take care, stay safe. Hope to see you all on the next journey. Bye for now.